Chances are, if you're watching this video, you love BeamNG Drive. What if I told you that eventually BeamNG Drive is on track to become one of the greatest racing games ever made? But how? And most importantly, when will this happen? That's what this video is about. I'm going to go over 5 reasons how BeamNG Drive will eventually become the greatest racing game ever made. Without further ado, let's get into 5 reasons how BeamNG Drive will very soon become one of the greatest racing games ever made. The 5th reason is BeamNG Drive cares about its player base, and they always listen to them. Now, most AAA racing games, if not all of them, do not care about their player base whatsoever. The only thing they want from them is money. BeamNG Drive isn't like that. BeamNG Drive always listens to their community to make sure BeamNG Drive becomes the greatest racing game ever. I talked about this in a previous video before. If BeamNG Drive never loses its players, then they're doing things right, and eventually they will become the greatest racing game. Number 4 is they never rush their updates. Every time BeamNG Drive developers release a new update, you can tell they put the time into it. They never leave their updates unfinished. They never rush their updates. Many racing games, like Forza Horizon 5, recycle things from previous updates in previous games. BeamNG Drive never does that. BeamNG Drive always has something new in their updates. That way, whenever a new update comes out, people always want to play BeamNG Drive. And the more updates the BeamNG Drive game has, the better it will become. This next one is about features. Now, BeamNG Drive developers add so much cool features to their games that other racing games don't have. For example, in BeamNG Drive, everything in the car could be opened. Most racing games do not have that feature at all. BeamNG Drive also has a lot of small details in the game. And the more small details and more feature improvements in the game, the more realistic and immersive the cars will be. Speaking about the cars, BeamNG Drive's cars are so realistic and are packed with so much things you could do in them. Their cars are very customizable and very realistic to drive. Now, the main thing about any racing game is the cars. So if BeamNG Drive continues working on their cars in the game and keeps making them better and better every update, the game will become so much more fun and will make more car guys enjoy the game. This next one is about just how many things you could do in BeamNG Drive. Now, in BeamNG Drive, every type of car driving is in the game. I've already talked about this in a previous video on the channel. Now, BeamNG Drive just has everything from rallying to street racing to drifting. Whatever you can think of, it's in BeamNG Drive and it has a community for it. Even there are some people who just play BeamNG Drive to customize their cars and drive them around. If you love like a certain part about cars or a certain type of racing, chances are BeamNG Drive 100% has it. BeamNG Drive is like 1,000 racing games combined into one. Let's say you like rally racing, but you kind of want to stop rally racing and start Formula 1 racing instead. So you move to a different game about Formula 1 racing. BeamNG Drive, everything is in the same game. There's just so much to do in BeamNG Drive, and because of that, the game never gets boring, and there's always different things to do in the game. This is the #1 reason why BeamNG Drive will eventually become the greatest racing game ever. The game is fun. Okay, I know what you're saying right now. Well, what do you mean the game is fun? All video games are fun. that's the reason we play them in the first place, right? Well, the thing I'm saying here is BeamNG Drive never gets boring and is always fun. Now, here's an example of a game getting boring over time. Forza Horizon 5. In the beginning of the game, you're introduced to it and everything's so fun. You're jumping cars out of planes, you're driving on these cool tracks, you get to pick 3 amazing cars, and then you have to work for the Hall of Fame to get on this leaderboard thing, and you could actually start playing the game and unlocking everything. Well, you grind all day in trying to get into the Hall of Fame. Once you're there, you're like, now what? What else is there to do? Once you finish the Hall of Fame in Forza Horizon 5, there's really nothing to do besides play all these recycled and boring updates that are always the same. BeamNG Drive, that never happens. The game is always fun and you could always discover new and exciting things. There is nothing like just cruising around on a BeamNG Drive map after a long day of work or school. Now think of this here. What's your favorite racing game you've ever played? You've probably had a ton of fun from that game and probably have had so much memories. Now, I've been playing BeamNG Drive since 2018. I've had a lot of great memories from the game. And it's very fun always playing BeamNG Drive and playing the new updates. Now, BeamNG Drive will easily become the greatest racing game of all time. Because every racing game you could think of, it gets boring after a certain point. Because BeamNG Drive is a sandbox games, there's always something new to do in the game. So when will really BeamNG Drive earn the title of the most successful racing game ever? When will it really become the best racing game ever made? Now, this obviously won't happen overnight. I don't want you to go to the BeamNG Drive developers and just say, add this or add that or you're going to quit the game. This video is not a hate video to the BeamNG Drive developers at all. I don't want you guys to put any pressure on the BeamNG Drive developers. Now, they're all trying so hard to make the game the best it can. So I want everyone to show support to them, because I know many people that actually don't and are very mean to them. Now guys, when could this actually really happen? When can we estimate? Probably maybe in a couple years from now. 10 years ago, all BeamNG Drive was you could just really crash a truck into a wall and that's it. Look where the game is now. Look how far we've come. I could expect in a couple years for BeamNG Drive to add so many features and new cars. Now guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next BeamNG Drive video.